everyone, welcome to Let's Talk Sci-Fi. Tonight we're going to be talking about Star Trek Picard. We are just 4 or 5 days away from the big premiere on the 23rd. Depends on when this uploads. We're sitting at 5 days right now. And I'm very excited. I've got my CBS All Access ready to go. I hope you guys do too. And we're going to jump right into this. I'm not going to talk about theories so much. I might pop out one or two in this video. I plan on doing a video right before the launch, Wednesday night or Thursday, early Thursday, with some theories in it. But what I want to talk about tonight is what I hope to see in the first season of Picard, if not in the first few episodes. And I know that might be asking a little too much to see everything that I'm looking forward to seeing in the first few episodes. But this is the first time we have gone forward in the Star Trek universe in a long time. This is the first time since Nemesis, since Star Trek Voyager, and since Deep Space Nine. And the prequel series are great. The Enterprise was great. Its ending was kind of meh, but you know, it is what it is. I'm liking Discovery so far. I'm looking forward to see what they're going to do 1,000 years in the future, and there's supposed to be some tie into Picard for that. But what I'm looking at right now is the main canon overarching storyline of the Federation, Starfleet, the Alpha and Beta quadrants, and what's been going on for the past few decades. One thing I want to know is the wormhole. What's going on with that? Is it still there? Is it still the temple to the prophets? Is Sisko still with them? Has he come back at all? Would he be referenced? And these might just be subtle references. Maybe Picard, when he's at Starfleet headquarters talking, they'll make reference to now that it took 20 years for the dust to settle from the war with the Dominion, and now this, or something, some kind of subtle little drop here or there, where it's just even just mentioning it, just acknowledging that there was a war with the Dominion, that Janeway dealt a huge blow to the Borg. Is Miles O'Brien still teaching at the Academy? Has he retired? I mean, it has been a few decades, but is he at the Academy? Picard's on Earth, the Academy's on Earth. Do they hang out? Do they talk? What's going on with that? As Janeway, did she get in trouble for breaking the temporal prime directive by getting everyone home, but then going back in time and bringing everyone home sooner? So and safer, I'll admit. She has to be at least referenced for her work with Seven of Nine and liberating her from the collective, as well as I'm sure the story she'll tell of her older self as Admiral coming back in time and getting close to the Borg Queen and you know, dealing that blow to them. Is Harry Kim still Harry Kim? Was there anything different with him? What happened to Tom Paris when he got out? It would just be interesting. You know, I need a good pilot. What about Tom Paris? Oh, I don't need someone so reckless. Some kind of references here and there. What's Jake up to? Jake Sisko. What's going on with him? These are a lot of things that I'd like to kind of hear touched on. How's Bajor doing? How are the Cardassians doing? Where are the Klingons? We haven't seen a single Klingon in any of the trailers or sneak peeks or anything, and we've got a lot of Romulan stuff happening. It, you know, in theory crafting, again, I don't want to just blow out a bunch of theories here, but it seems like the Federation are being really nice with the Romulans, at least with the tie-in comics, which I'm going to talk about here in a minute. And so the more friendly we get with the Romulans, are the Klingons going to be more leery of dealing with the Federation or with Starfleet? Anyway, those are some things that I'm looking forward to seeing. Tie-ins to the past. Now, with tie-ins going forward, we have a tie-in comic series leading into Picard. It's a 3-part story, and parts 1 and 2 are already out. Part 3 should have been out a few days ago, but they announced that they're going to hold off on that for about a month. So a few episodes of Picard will already have aired before the 3rd tie-in comes out. And it seems sort of like a lead-in, because in these comics, spoilers, if you haven't read them and you're interested in reading them, if not, just, you know, keep watching. Picard is an admiral in these, and the Romulan star is going nova, and it is his job to help evacuate all the Romulan colonies in the system, or anyone within the blast radius. And seems to be doing a fairly good job of that, and then something goes awry in the comics, and the third one would wrap it all up and bring it all together. But it's just odd that they're not going to put that third one out until after it's already aired and he's no longer an admiral. We were kind of hoping that this would tie into why he's not in Starfleet anymore, but that will probably be explained in the first episode. Now, a bit of theory crafting here is in these tie-in comics, he has a conversation with Geordi LaForge, who is assigned and in command of the Utopia Planitia shipyards back in our system here at Earth, at Mars. And he's in charge of building up all the ships that are being used to evacuate the Romulans and all the colonies before the sun goes nova. So where that links into my concern, well, my concern comes from that linking into the short trek Children of Mars, where we see Mars and Utopia Planitia being destroyed by the synths, the rogue synths possibly. As that's being destroyed, a screen pops up and shows a picture of Picard and says Admiral Picard responds. So in the tie-in comics, Admiral Picard talks to Geordi at Utopia Planitia, and in the short track, Utopia Planitia is being destroyed while Admiral Picard is responding. So we don't have an exact date, star date, or Earth date for when short treks takes place, but Picard's an admiral, Utopia Planitia gets destroyed, and Picard's an admiral, and he's talking to Geordi, who's in charge of Utopia Planitia. Are we losing Geordi? Is my point. That'd be a pretty big deal if we lost Geordi, if we lost a main character from Picard's Star Trek, from TNG. I could see how it would have a major impact on the overarching story. We'd have to lose some big character, and so far we've seen from Troy, Riker, the Troys, we've seen Data / Lore. There's no Beverly and there's no Geordi mentioned so far, so who knows what's going to happen with that. That's really interesting. Also, going back, other tie-ins, they talked about how Nero's ship used Borg technology. So that's really interesting that, Romulans, Remans, giant ship used for mining, Borg technology, etc., etc. So that's all very curious. I want to see if that ties in at all anywhere in the Picard show. My hope is that the showrunners, are as big as fans as you and I are, and will pick up on these, and even subtle references. It doesn't need to be an entire plot about how Nero got Borg technology to upgrade his ship. It doesn't need to be an entire plot about whether or not Odo is still in the Great Link. It just little subtle things here and there would be great to see. It's kind of a nod, be a nice little touch of fan service. Might be a deep cut for some who are only watching New Trek currently, but it is what it is. But let me know, what do you think? What are you looking forward to seeing whenever the new Picard comes out? Theories aside, again, I'll do another episode about theories. Is there anything that you're hoping to see from the past pop up, subtle hints, little cameos here and there? Maybe Barclay runs by somewhere in the background. That'd be pretty funny. But overall, I'm very excited for this. Been very excited since the day Patrick Stewart announced it. Not buying too much into the things that I've heard from the LA premiere and the UK premiere. But I know a lot of people say dismiss all the negative stuff you're hearing. There's nothing really that anyone knows right now. It's just a lot of theory crafting, and I know that Patrick Stewart has upset some people with some things he said, and I'm not going to talk about his or any of the cast's political views, but there was one thing that he did say that seemed to ruffle a lot of feathers, and it was that this is not the next generation Star Trek. This is not the Star Trek that you know from TNG. It's not the Federation that you know from TNG. And I say, of course not. Of course it isn't, because the Star Trek of TNG, the Federation, the Starfleet of TNG, was not what it was from TOS, from the original series. The Star Trek of Deep Space Nine certainly wasn't the Star Trek of the Next Generation. Deep Space Nine was dark and gritty. The Federation was different. It's where we really solidified the term Badmirals, because it was hard to find a good admiral in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Voyager, again, wasn't the same as Next Gen. It wasn't the same as Deep Space Nine. Every iteration of Trek should be somehow a little bit different, especially if you're moving, going forward. We have to see how it changes and grows and progresses and even falls. It has to fall to climb and rebuild and to renew itself and become something different. So I'm pumped at the fact that it's not like the Next Generation, because I don't know if I want to watch just season 8 of the Next Generation with a handful of old characters from then. But let me know what you think about that comment, and I'm going to try and get some theory crafting videos, at least one in between now and the premiere. If not, then I'm definitely going to see you guys premiere night and the next day. So live long and prosper, and I will see you then.